Hi, welcome back to Reading with Manny. I'm Manny, and today I am doing my January wrap-up, for which, for once, I actually read 4 whole books. Amazing. If you're new here, for the past 2 years, I've only read 2 books in January. For different reasons, but anyway, this year I managed 4, so yay! So this is a very short wrap-up. As you can see, we're still in front of the void. There's just the white wall behind me. Yeah, bookshelves are not yet ready. Let's just get into the book. So the first book I read in January was Unsinkable by Jenny L. Walsh. I had an arc for this. I think it's already out. And I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It's about the true life story of Violet Jessop, who survived the Titanic and at least 2 other shipwrecks, and she kept getting on boats. So the book explores her life from the Titanic onwards, kind of trying to explain why Violet kept going to sea. She was also a nurse during World War One, and then ended up on a hospital ship that also sank. Yeah. So it goes into detail about her family. So it explores those themes about the responsibility she felt for having to provide for her family, which was all-encompassing, apparently, at least in what the author is trying to explain, why she just kept going on ship. But we are also following the story of Daphne, I want to say. Hold on. Yes, I was right, Daphne. Although she's not a real character, she is supposed to represent all the women who took part in the resistance during the Second World War. That means women inside France, British or French or wherever they were from, that participated in the resistance against the Nazis by being spies and coordinating the arrival of supplies and getting people out of France, etc. And that story is also really interesting. We go through her training and her motivations for joining the resistance and the things that happened to her, most of which kind of take from real life stories, which I also thought was very interesting. The author's note at the end was very enlightening in that sense. I mean, I have read many books set during World War II, watched many movies, so it's not things are completely new, but still it was a very interesting perspective, I thought. So yes, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought the ending just didn't I mean, I understood from the author's note why the ending was like that, but it just felt, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I really enjoyed it in all. So yes, I would highly recommend it if you're into, historical fiction, especially wartime fiction, that kind of thing. Then, following the theme, I read In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. I read it in one sitting, not one sitting, but in one day, and I finished it late at night, tears dripping down my face, literally, trying to control my sobbing. If you can hear that noise, that's my cat playing with something. Okay, so In Memoriam is set in World War One, and it's just devastating. Truly, I was distraught. We follow these 2 boys, basically, who are in their last year of school in England, and then war breaks out, and well, then one by one, all the boys in the town and in the school, one by one, they start going off to war. And so we get these 2 boys who are best friends, but also, that they have feelings for each other, but neither of them is expressing them correctly. So anyway, one of them sets off to war, and then the other follows, and it's just brutal. It's brutal. Again, if you're into war fiction, top notch, fantastic. The depictions of the battles, which again, I have read before, because I have read a lot of historical fiction set in World War One for some reason. Anyway, absolutely fantastic. The writing is just so evocative and visceral and like poetic even. Like they write letters to each other and I can't. And their love, I cannot. Okay, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I cried, 5 out of 5, would recommend, want to cry again. Yeah. Okay, that was book 2. And then I let a few days go by because I was like, in one of those book hangovers, and then I decided to read They're Going to Love You by Meg Howry. Why did I do this to myself, you may ask? Who knows? But I had heard a lot of people talking about this book, especially in our Rhodes book club, which got formed last year during Wonderthon. Anyway, we all love literary fiction over there, and yeah, a lot of people had been talking about that book. So in this book, we follow Carlisle, who is a young woman who has an estranged father. That's all we know at the beginning, I think. And then we start, the story is not told in a linear way. We kind of like go back and forth to the present times, where she is a dance choreographer, and then going back to her childhood in the 80s, where her father and his partner lived in New York, and they were both dancers, and Carlisle would visit them during summers or things like that, because her mother was living somewhere else. And so we get her perspective on how she learns about the AIDS epidemic and how it's affecting his father and his partner, who she loves very much and she admires, and she wants to be part of like that world of the dance and the ballet and the New York things. So yeah, we follow her life and like we try to piece together what happened between them, so that that relationship that seemed very strong when she visited them. It's very late. What happened to make that bond break? And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I again read it in one day, and again sobbing, like crying badly. Like, it's so introspective. Like, you get Carlisle's thought processes and like her reminiscing about what she has done in her life and like how things have gone for her and her relationship with her mother, and the very tense relationship that she has with her mother, and it's just, I don't know what to tell you. Go read that book. It's not that long and it destroys you. So yes, that's all I have to say about that. And finally, the last book, which I actually finished like a couple of days ago in February, but it doesn't matter because I read most of it in January, and I don't care. I'm counting it here. That is The Winter Spirits by a bunch of authors that I love. Okay, so I've been highly anticipating this book. Look how beautiful it is, okay? Just, oh, I love it. So, a couple of years ago, these same authors, or at least most of these authors, had put out a book that was called The Haunting Season. And this is kind of like a follow-up to that. They both feature ghost stories around the Christmas time, which is like, traditional. And first book was fantastic. I gave that 5 stars. And this one did not disappoint either. Obviously, you always like some stories more than others, but I thought this was a very solid ghost story collection. There's like something for everyone here. I have found that sometimes you get stories from the perspective of the villain and bad things are happening to the villain because the ghost is doing something, there's something going on, and yet it's still not as satisfying, I guess. That they are getting what they deserve, but I don't know, I just don't find that as satisfying to read. I don't know why. I don't like being in the mind of villains sometimes. I guess it depends on how it's done. But anyway, I digress. This has stories from, and let me tell you, because, oh my God, Kira Millwood Hargrave, I love. Laura Shepard Robinson, I don't think I've read from her before. Andrew Michael Hurley, don't think I've read from him before, but I think I really enjoyed the story. Imogen Hermes Gower, I think she had a story in the previous book and I had enjoyed it. Natasha Pulley, my absolute fave. This story was fantastic. Yeah, Elizabeth McNeil, can't remember if she had a story in the previous one, but yeah, I don't know. Richie Collins, I really liked her story. Stuart Turton's story was fantastic, like top notch, loved it. Creepy and satisfying, great. Jess Kidd's story, that one was great too. That one was really good too, really loved it. Katrina Ward, masterful. That is just weird and yeah, great. Susan Stokes Chapman, I did read from before. I really enjoyed her story too. And then we had Laura Purcell, and I really enjoyed that one too. That one was creepy. So yes, all in all, 5 stars. Would highly recommend for, you know, the haunting season, which this is not. But, you know, if you're looking for good Christmas ghost story fun, this is it. Yes, this is a very prized possession now. Anyway, and that's it. Those are the 4 books I read in January and a bit of February. I'm very excited that I read a lot of great books this month, and I can't wait to, you know, get on my February read because I am very excited for those. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I'll see you in the next one, in which there will be a very interesting announcement. So stay tuned. Bye, happy reading.